3%. That is the percentage of people over 60 years old who still have full control over their own lives. Are you one of them? Aging does not take away your strength. Giving up does. Some things may seem simple, but they silently determine whether you will live a healthy, independent life or just get by in a limited existence. And the most alarming part, most people do not realize these warning signs until it is too late. This video is not here to scare you. It is not about praising some special person either. It is about you taking an honest, deep, and hopeful look at yourself. Because if you start today, you can get back so much of what you thought was lost. Your health, your flexibility, your memory, and above all, that powerful sense of being in charge of your own life. Before we move on, take a moment to leave a commitment in the comments as your first step toward change. Something like, "I am becoming stronger every day." And do not forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so each week you get a small yet powerful reminder. You still can. Now get ready, because the 5 things you are about to hear might just change the way you walk through aging. 1. The stair test. There is one test so simple we often overlook it every day: taking the stairs. Just a few steps up can tell the full story about your health, not just physically, but mentally too. Stairs do not lie. They do not care how old you are, what you are wearing, or how healthy you think you are. They demand one thing: do you have enough strength and enough will to keep climbing? For many people over 60, walking up one flight of stairs without stopping is already a serious challenge. And if your heart starts pounding, your breath becomes short, your knees ache, or you need to hold onto the railing after just a few steps, that is not just ordinary fatigue. That is your body sending you a clear message. Your circulatory system, your heart, lungs, and major muscle groups is starting to break down. On top of that, it also shows your body is struggling to deliver enough oxygen for everyday activity, and your metabolism is slowing down. In other words, you are no longer climbing through life. Life is starting to pull you down. And because of that exhaustion, many people quietly make what seems like a small choice. They avoid the stairs. First, for convenience. Then, because it gets a bit hard to breathe. And eventually, out of fear. Fear of falling, fear of fatigue, fear of inconvenience. What they do not realize is that every time they skip the stairs, they are also skipping a part of life. Those few steps become a barrier to movement, to emotion, to experience. And slowly, the world around them shrinks. Not because the world got smaller, but because they no longer have the strength to reach it. When you turn away from something as small as a staircase, you are also stepping back from greater things. Playing with your grandkids, taking a walk in the park, climbing a few steps to visit a friend, or simply going out to the balcony to watch the sunset. You lose those moments, not because of time, but because of a lack of training. Health is like a fire. If you do not keep feeding it, it will quietly burn out. But here is the good news. Everything can be rebuilt. Do not think it is too late. The body has an incredible ability to adapt and heal, if you know how to activate it. You do not need to run marathons. You do not need to climb mountains. Just start with a few stairs each day. Instead of avoiding them, look at the stairs as a silent teacher, always reminding you, you are capable of more. And yes, climbing stairs is really about climbing back into your life. Not to become someone else, but to become yourself again. 2. Sitting down and standing up without using a cane. You do not need fancy equipment or a specialist to figure out where your body stands in the aging journey. Sometimes, a simple move like sitting down on the floor and getting back up without support can reveal a whole lot about your physical condition. It is not just a physical test, it is a quiet yet powerful challenge. One where your nerves, muscles, joints, and inner willpower must all work together in harmony. Many people assume sitting down and standing up is no big deal, something everyone can do, until they try. And that is when they realize their legs are no longer strong enough. Their lower body has lost its flexibility. And, perhaps most importantly, they are no longer confident they can do it without falling. The fear of falling is not just about pain. It is about losing control. It is the fear of having to ask for help, of facing the reality that they might not be in charge anymore. Here is something to think about. Many people have never fallen, not because they are strong, but because they have never tried. They avoid sitting on the floor, avoid bending down, avoid stepping lower, simply because they are afraid they will not be able to get back up. But avoiding these actions does not help them stay independent. It just makes their bodies stiffer, weaker, slower to react, and quietly traps them in an invisible cage of fear. The truth is, strong older adults are not the ones who have never fallen. They are the ones who know how to get back up, who train, who adapt, who stay ready. And the beautiful thing is, no matter where you are on your health journey, you can start again. Practicing how to sit down and stand up can start with the simplest steps, like gently lowering yourself onto a soft mat, feeling every motion, and slowly standing back up on your own strength. Treat each practice like a little ritual. No rush, no pressure, just steady effort. Because every time you do this, you are not just training your body. You are reminding yourself that you are still in control. You are not letting age define you. You are choosing to take control with your muscles, your mindset, and your self-discipline. That is the quiet power of independence. Not loud, but lasting. And if you stay consistent, you will notice change. Not just in your body, but in your mind. You will start to feel brave enough to try more, to reach down for that item on the floor, to step outside without fear of moving alone. These little things, they are what dignity is made of, because the person who no longer dares to sit down is often the first to lose the ability to rise up in life. Remember this. Every time you sit down and stand back up on your own, you are claiming your independence. You are not waiting for someone to come help. You are not afraid of falling, because you know you can rise again. 3. Carrying a grocery bag without shaking. Have you ever wondered what something as simple as carrying a grocery bag can say about your health? A whole lot. Because just one bag that weighs a few kilograms, or about 6 to 10 pounds, is enough to test the coordination of your muscles, nervous system, and balance. If any one of those is weakening, your hand will start to tremble, your arm will tire quickly, and your steps will slow down and lose stability. You are not just carrying groceries, you are testing your ability to live independently. Grip strength, something that might seem small, is actually one of the strongest indicators of health in older age. Medical studies have even called weak grip strength a silent predictor of serious conditions, from strokes and heart failure to dementia and even early death. Why? Because it reflects your overall mobility, blood circulation, the resilience of your peripheral nerves, and how quickly your brain responds. If you find your hand shaking while carrying a bag of milk, or you keep switching hands when holding some vegetables, that is not just a sign of getting older. That is your body warning you. Your core strength is slipping away, and if you do not hold on to it, it will leave for good. The saying, "If you can hold a bag, you can still hold your life," is not an exaggeration. It speaks to something deeper. When you are strong enough to carry your daily items, you are still capable of living life on your own terms, active, independent, and free from weakness. But when you start needing help to carry things, to open jars, or to pull out a chair, you are slowly handing over your freedom. But you do not have to let that happen, because strength, even after the age of 60, can be rebuilt, bit by bit, day by day. You do not need heavy weights or a fancy gym. Just start with small actions, squeezing a softball for a few minutes each day, lifting a water bottle several times each morning, or pulling against a light resistance band. These are all small beginnings to a strong comeback. Think of it this way: every time you grip something tightly, you are telling yourself, "I am still in control," not just of the object, but of your body, your mindset, and your freedom. You are not just holding a bag, you are training your ability to live on your own, protect yourself, and believe that you have not given up. So do not underestimate the act of carrying a grocery bag. It is a quiet but powerful test of whether you are still holding on to life your way or letting it slip through your fingers without even noticing. 4. Purpose. Why do you wake up in the morning? It sounds like a simple question, but after the age of 60, it becomes one of the most powerful and defining questions of all. When you no longer have a clear goal, something to look forward to, each new day stops being an opportunity and becomes just another repetition. And repetition without inspiration slowly dries out the soul from within. Having no purpose means having no fuel to live. When someone has nothing to anticipate, no one to talk to, no place to belong, they often start drifting into depression, isolation, fatigue, and confusion. And when the soul feels useless or unanchored, the body follows. The immune system weakens, appetite drops, sleep becomes restless, and even unexplained aches appear. All signs that life no longer feels meaningful. On the other hand, even a small purpose can change everything. A little plant that needs watering each morning, a grandchild waiting for a story, or just a quiet promise to yourself. Today, I will go for a 15-minute walk. These small things keep the heart warm, the eyes bright, and the mind active. A person with a purpose, no matter how simple, keeps their vitality and finds a reason to smile. Purpose does not need to be grand. What matters is that it is yours, something that makes you feel like you are still playing a role in this world, not for others to approve of, but so that you feel connected and alive. A great way to rekindle a sense of direction is to write your own life statement. Just one sentence, short but strong enough to get you out of bed in the morning. For example, I live to spread gratitude and love. Or, I live to experience every moment deeply. Print it out, tape it to your mirror, read it every morning as a personal ritual. It is a simple but profound way to remind yourself of who you are and why you live. Try adding one new thing to your life each week. An old hobby you used to love, a healthy habit, or even a surprise phone call to someone from the past. Life does not have to be huge. It just needs to be meaningful in the little things. And if you ever find yourself standing in a void, that very moment, the one where you choose to reset your inner compass, is the beginning of something new. A journey where you are not just surviving, but living with intention, showing up fully, and honoring the life you still have. 5. Memory. Many people think memory loss is just part of getting older, but the truth is, memory does not fade simply because you age. It fades because you stop using it the right way. Just like muscles shrink when they are not exercised, your brain also slows down and loses clarity if it is not being challenged and stimulated often. Here is a quick, powerful test. Try remembering 5 unrelated words, something like bicycle, cat, coffee, book, ocean, and after 10 seconds, can you repeat all 5 in the same order? This test checks more than just recall. It reveals how fast your brain processes, how well it organizes information, and how alert your mind really is. It is like measuring your mental reflexes, using just your words and attention. People over 60 who can do this well are often the ones who still learn, think logically, create, and stay emotionally engaged with life. They are not just remembering names, phone numbers, or doctor appointments. They are learning new skills, solving problems, and keeping that spark alive in their eyes, their smiles, and their stories. That is why memory training should never be overlooked, because memory is not just a tool, it is the key to feeling alive. A sharp mind helps you hold conversations, maintain relationships, adapt to changes, and know that you are still valuable, still useful, still growing. The solutions are simple, but they take commitment. Start by reading one new book each week, especially a genre you have never tried before. Then learn a small skill, a few words of a new language. a few notes on an old piano, or a simple dance move from an online video. This is not just entertainment, it is a way to reactivate the brain you once used with ease and creativity. And never underestimate the power of a real conversation. When you truly listen, ask questions, and share stories, you are building hundreds of new connections in your brain. Talking with people is the most natural and effective brain exercise. It boosts memory and nurtures positive emotions at the same time. Just remember, you do not need to have a super memory. You just need to be clear enough to truly live each moment. Every time you learn something new, you are pushing back against aging in silence. And more importantly, you are reminding yourself, I am still alive. Not just because my heart is beating, but because my mind is awake and my spirit is moving. In the end, you do not need to master all 5 things. You just need to not give up on yourself. Aging is not measured by the number of candles on your birthday cake. It is measured by how much freedom, awareness, and intention you still hold in your daily life. If today you suddenly realize that your body, your memory, or your spirit has been sliding for too long, do not rush to blame yourself, because becoming aware right now is still on time. As the old saying goes, even if you have walked 100 miles in the wrong direction, turning around is always the way back. Healing, clarity, and renewal, they all begin with one small decision: to not abandon yourself. Pick one of the 5 things we talked about today and start practicing, whether it is climbing a few stairs, rereading a page of a book, or holding a hand a little firmer. Each of these is a step back toward your center of strength. If this message speaks to you, leave a simple affirmation in the comments. Something like, I am taking charge of my aging. Hit like to help this message reach more people. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because each week we will continue exploring powerful topics together so you can not only live longer, but live in a way that truly feels worth it. Aging is not a decline. It is a turning point, where the strongest shine in quiet, powerful ways. See you next time.